The history of the land is here. Your history is here. Your birth, your military record, your marriage. The files are filled with the names and dates, for this is the Hall of Records. But this county courthouse is far more than cold statistics. People make it go. People at your service in the various offices and courts that breathe with hopes and fears, the joys and sorrows of you, the citizens of this great county, first settled in 1832. At this courthouse you see vital fulfillment of the process of free government. This is government at the local level, closest government to you. While these words were the words of Don Peasley in 1972 in a piece entitled A Sense of History, written for the dedication of this building, they are words that were true in the 1800s and remain true today. As we begin a new era as the 22nd Judicial Circuit, it is important that we look back at where we've been. It is our past that has shaped us and will guide us in the future. On January 16, 1836, the county of McHenry was separated by the act of the legislature from the land that was then known as Cook County. At that time, McHenry County included land of present-day Cook County, the counties of Lake, DuPage, McHenry, and Will. A commission to locate a county seat suggested Libertyville, Half Day, McHenry, Crystal Lake, and Fort Hill. After taking into due consideration the advantages of each settlement, the commissioners decided May 10, 1837 upon McHenry. Since it was near the geographic center of the then county, it was best suited for the seat of justice. The first term of the circuit court in the area was held May 10, 1838 in McHenry, the Honorable John Pearson presiding. Judge Pearson, who originally settled in Danville, traveled to McHenry County in what was then part of the 7th Judicial Circuit, to hold court in a session restricted by statute to 3 days. With a docket of 62 cases, the court heard 19 cases the first day, and at the end of the session had heard all but 18 cases. It has been said of that session that this court was one of the curiosities of the day, for there was scarcely an adult in the county who were either plaintiff, defendant, juror, or witness. There were some regular backwoods times during the short session. All kinds of gaming at cards and horse racing were practiced. The essence of rye was dealt out at no small rate, not less than 5 or 6 barrels having been drunk, and the place left dry before court rose. There were 81 cases on the docket of the Circuit Court of McHenry County during the May 1838 term. At the May 1839 term, there were 138. Most of the cases on the docket arose from charges of counterfeiting and horse theft. During the early years of 1837 to 1839, the population was young and healthy, as 52 marriages were recorded, but no probate was filed until October 1839. The population was also surprisingly educated, as from an early census, there were only 39 white people in the county over the age of 20 who could not read or write. The total population at that time was 2,578. The first courthouse was located at what is now 1401 North Riverside Drive in McHenry, and remained the location of the courthouse until 1844. The building is still in existence and today is known as the Town Club Tavern. This building was recently dedicated by the Illinois Historical Society. By 1843, due to a change in the eastern boundary lines, McHenry was no longer the center of the county. In 1844, the county seat was moved to Centerville, later renamed Woodstock, which was the new center of the county. In September of that year, all documents were removed to the second courthouse. This second courthouse was a plain 2-story building which stood in the middle of the public square and served as the courthouse and jail. Soon, this structure became too small and an additional building was added. This was a thick-walled brick structure with a tin roof affectionately called the Rat Hole, which was commissioned to be constructed in 1846. The structure was on the square where the Harris Bank building now stands and received its name approximately 1 year after its erection. On a particularly windy day, the tin roof lifted, being tossed a distance away. The county officials, most of them Democrats, scurried from the building. A local merchant and a Whig of very pronounced opinions exclaimed, "See the damned rats crawl out of their holes." The name stuck, and the building was forever known as the Rat Hole. Even on county records the name appeared, the building being sold to Lindsay Jocelyn in 1856 for $723. In 1857, the third courthouse, what many presently refer to as the Old Courthouse, was constructed and remains to this day on the square in Woodstock. Originally, this land on the west side of the square was purchased by the citizens of Woodstock and transferred to the county in exchange for the city square. The red brick structure was built for a total cost of $47,000 and housed the courthouse and jail until 1972. In 1887, the sheriff's residence was added along with the jail for an additional $17,000. By 1955, this building also proved to be too small and the annex was purchased, Central School, from the Woodstock School District at a cost of $85,000. This building at 121 West Benton Street, a block south, housed office space, court facilities, and a county boardroom. Among its more renowned guests was turn-of-the-century socialist leader Eugene V. Debs, who was imprisoned in the McHenry County Jail after the collapse of the 1894 railroad strikes. In 1969, the county purchased 21 acres north of Woodstock and began plans for the present courthouse. In 1972, the present facility was completed and dedicated. The building as it looked in 1972 at the time first occupied is shown in this picture. The Government Center booklet, produced soon after the courthouse was completed, boasted that the Circuit Court in McHenry County would hear 3,500 new civil cases and over 18,000 violations of the law that year in the new facility. Compare those numbers to 2005, where over 93,000 new cases were filed. Naturally, McHenry County experienced steady and rapid growth since the early 70s. Consequently, the original structure underwent numerous additions and remodeling, which continues today. As we embark on this new era for the court in McHenry County, court facilities, circuit clerk offices, sheriff, state's attorneys, and public defender's offices are expanded and modernized to meet the judicial needs of the county. One cannot do a history of the court system without touching briefly on the many judges who have served in this county. However, this is a difficult task due to the expanse of 170 years. There were many faces, many personalities, and many stories. It is further complicated by the actions of the legislature in 1870, when the Constitution of 1870 expanded the courts, creating 4 separate types of trial courts in each judicial circuit. In McHenry County, therefore, there was a circuit court, a county court, and various courts of the justice of the peace and police magistrates. It is reported that the first circuit judge was John Pearson from 1837 to 1841. The first county judge was also considered the first lawyer in the county, Amory Thomas, who served in 1839. Judge Pearson's fame rests chiefly on an action for impeachment brought against him while circuit judge. According to a 1916 account, he was not thought of very highly by the Chicago bar and was considered to be incompetent and not fit for the bench. More on this later. This extreme bias against him was most likely due to his being from East Central Illinois. Although impeachment proceedings never occurred on account of Pearson being a member of the same party that controlled the House, Pearson never recovered and slipped away from the bench to become a senator. A sampling of other past judges. Charles H. Donnelly, circuit judge from 1897 to 1903. He was also the first president of the McHenry County Bar Association. Edward D. Shurtleff, circuit judge from 1912 through 1936. The McHenry County Historical Society has more than a few examples of his outspoken letters to the newspaper concerning issues of the day, despite his position on the bench. James H. Cooney and William M. Carroll. Judge Carroll served as circuit judge from 1945 to 1972. He also served as a downstate appellate judge. Judge Cooney served as a circuit judge from 1964 to 1979. Interestingly, these are but two examples of past judges whose descendants continue to serve the legal community in the county, including current bar members Peter Carroll and Melissa Cooney. Unfortunately, time does not permit a fair and proper treatment of all the influential jurists that have sat on the bench in this county. Across from the bench is the bar. The local bar was organized on February 15, 1915, with the aforementioned Charles Donnelly serving as its first president. Even then, it was acknowledged as an exceedingly strong bar, and that no better trial lawyers can be found in the entire state than some members of the small bar of McHenry County. They were often spoke of, according to a 1922 publication, as the fighting bar of McHenry County. That tradition rings true today. Among the various activities that the bar participates in is Law Day, which is an annual nationwide celebration of all aspects of law and the legal system. Along with the court, the sheriff's office, and court personnel, the bar recognizes those who have made strong contributions to the legal community and educates the public on the legal system. The bar also is an active participant in promoting and supporting pro bono legal activities and services by contributing attorneys and funds towards Prairie State Legal Services. It seems that the first criminal case to be reported on the appellate level was Cross v. People in 1840, which involved check forgery for a canal check related to the Illinois and Michigan Canal. The case was transferred on a change of venue to McHenry County. The court upheld Mr. Croft's conviction by none other than Judge Pearson, finding the indictment was satisfactory. The first reported civil case was Swain v. Kaywood, another 1840 case. Also a review from Judge Pearson on an action for a sumsit, which is an action to enforce an oral contract or written contract not under seal. Again, the court affirmed Judge Pearson's ruling in favor of plaintiff for $311.52. Despite the Chicago Bar's attitude toward Judge Pearson, he seems to have gotten it right at least a couple of times. It was not until March 17, 1931, that this court experienced the first male-female jury. County Judge Charles T. Allen presided over a civil matter in the county court in the case of Lannon v. Barber. The 7-women, 5-man jury found in favor of plaintiff for the tidy sum of $77.90. As mentioned before, the court has been blessed with scores of outstanding jurists, some of who serve for brief periods on the bench and some for longer tenures. We are fortunate to be near such a milestone. For almost 30 years ago to the day, Judge Michael Sullivan was sworn in as a jurist for the first time on December 6, 1976. On April 8, 1993, McHenry County welcomed its first female jurists, Judge Susan Fayette Hutchison, who now serves as an appellate judge for the 2nd Judicial Circuit. McHenry County has been fortunate to have a strong, effective judicial system due to its tremendous jurists, outstanding bar, and court personnel. As we begin this chapter of the 22nd Judicial Circuit, our roots will help carry this proud tradition forward.